Hello, hello, hello. My name is Bright Rose, and welcome back to Minecraft from the RelaxedCraft server. And admit it, did that make you jump? Did it? Did that make you jump? Makes me jump a few times. But yes, hello, welcome back. We are here in the torrent of my Hive City. And yes, following the last video, I have decided to continue and complete the glass effect using the borderless glass texture from Vanilla Tweaks. It is brilliant. I love it. It gives the exact effect that I was looking for. And what we are continuing to do today in what is going to be a slightly different formatted video, we are going to be throwing up a building in this little area behind me, because we have slowly been moving our way around, adding the facades for these buildings throughout this area, enclosing it bit by bit, and today we are going to fill in this section right here. First, this is going to require me to grab some blocks. And I'm trying not to have the same block palette, so in this case, this red one and this grey one, right next to one another. So I think we're going to go for a darker colour in here. And I think we might be leaning heavily on one of the new blocks, that being the tough bricks that we've got here, because we updated to 1.20.4, if I get that right. I probably haven't. And much like a certain other, much larger Minecraft SMP, we've gained access to a number of the brand new blocks from the 1.21 update. I'm going to do a little bit of a review, a little look at all of those blocks in a coming video. But right now, we're just going to use some of these tough brick blocks to improve the general look of this building. Excuse the chest monster, I just need to find my tuff, because it is something of a premium now, given the fact that it has become so damn pretty and useful in, well, just a much wider context, frankly, because I used to use tuff a lot, because I used it as a texturing block in landscaping and things like that. But now, with all the many, many variants that we've got, and I realise I've looked at the one section of wall that probably hasn't got any tough blocks in it. Yeah, it's just so nice, and I am going to be using it quite a lot. So I've got myself a nice selection of blocks here, of the rough palette that I'm looking to use, and it's grey and dingy and greeny coloured, because we're going for the kind of mossy look here. And what I'm going to do is just throw in a load of these blocks in the corner, using that kind of standard texturing pattern that I like to use for these kind of buildings. And we're just going to lob these around. And what we're aiming for is to give the kind of look of the mossy, icky blocks where this rundown bit of city has kind of fallen into disrepair. And what I'm going to do then, we'll just add a few of these chiseled ones along there. Are they the chiseled ones? They are the chiseled ones. I'm still... Okay, so they're chiseled tough bricks, and that's chiseled tough. Right, I'm still learning this. We're just going to add them in there like that for now, and I think we'll add one of those there to add a little bit of weirdness to it. And I've also got some of these polished tough, but I'm going to wait for a little bit to add that, because that is going to be my standout decoration block. So we're just going to throw these in like this, touching against that. I think we'll have one of those mossy cobble blocks there. And we'll go a bit like that. Okay, that works. We'll stick one there. Yep, that works. Let's throw in a couple of normal tough blocks in these little recesses like that. There we go. Okay, that works. And then I'm going to fill in the outside of this area with the normal stone brick blocks like that. couple along there. Alright, that works. Actually, let's knock that one out. And then what happens if I get some stone and we fill that in? Let's have a look. I'm going to throw that in like that. And I'm going to throw these andesite ones in between to add that lighter little bit of texture. That works. That's what I was going for. And then we're going to repeat this along the front of here. And then we'll get onto the second floor. Now we've roughly blocked out this lower section of this wall, it's time to put in a little bit of detail and decide which bits of this we don't quite like. Now these tough brick blocks here, they're a bit harsh from what I'm just looking at them. They really grab your attention as you're looking at the general wall. So I think we're probably going to move a few of these around. Just break them up a little bit. And what I'm probably going to use is the polished tough block. So if we don't fall down there, if we just get rid of one of those and we put that in, I think it's going to mute it out quite a bit. I think we'll do the same up there as well. Just to break up those very strong lines. And I think that one right there will do as well. That I think works. And now we'll break up this little bit even further with the addition of some spruce signs along the bottom here. Now that we've got those spruce signs in, and it's adding a little border to the bottom here, which kind of blends it in as well between the decking that we've got down here of the road surface and the wall. So it adds that little transition going in there as well. We can now add one of the things that I'm quite happy about. A new addition that we've got, again, through the tough blocks. Something to fill this wall in here, because of course you can't have a sign on there and there. So we're going to put in a little pipe that goes down there. And you can see an example of it over there. And I believe over in that corner as well. Because now we have the polished tough walls, which I can use quite well for drain pipes and things like that. Normally what I'd use is something like this, where you've got the stone bricks. But I've never really liked this texture, how it goes like that. I do often use deep slate, but sometimes deep slate doesn't quite work. So what I'm going to do is add something like this in over on those two corners. With the first one going in, we'll just lob the cauldron down in the corner like that. And then we will put our polished tough walls to connect it up like that. And I think we will just put two oak trapdoors like that, just to add a little bit of extra detail. And we'll do the same again in this corner over here. And we'll just have that wall coming down like this. There we go. And maybe instead of using the oak trapdoors, because I don't have enough, we'll just add two spruce signs like that as a sort of brace. And that adds just another little bit of texture, another little layer bumping out in those walls. And it also adds the different colour, again, blending in between this basalt here into the iron of the cauldron and then going up into the tough and these darker colours that we've got up there. Up until now, I've been dividing a lot of the layers between the various stages of the building with this sort of note block and sign combo, but I'm going to change things up a little bit, and what I'm going to use is these spruce logs, probably the stripped version. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a line of them along the top of this building like this, and that's going to be a little bit awkward there. So what we're going to need is we're going to have to make ourselves some stripped ones to go in that corner. And we're just going to put these along like this. As you can see, I've also managed to mess up the height of this wall. So we're going to have a few more blocks here. But we're just going to curve this along here. And this is going to act as the boundary between the first and second floors. And of course, we're then going to have to go along and strip all of these logs. One of the problems with ripping out the various things you've been using in a build for a while is when you destroy the torches. these pests start turning up in the middle of the night. Gonna have to make sure to relight that. So now we've added in that brace along there. We're gonna go in and we're gonna add some of my usual spruce fences and chain combo just into these areas here along this, just to blend it down. I like this general look. It's just an aesthetic that I really like. I think it works. And you can also put lights, things like lanterns on the end of these. It looks pretty damn good. I just like it. It's just an aesthetic that I really like, and I add it to quite a lot of these builds. For the second story of this building, we're going to switch to a much lighter, more neutral grey colour. We're going to keep the tough bricks just to link in with the bottom here, but they're going to be replacing these mossy bricks and the raw tuff in these corners. And then we're going to go into the stone bricks, the stone, the gravel, and the andesite. That's the top layer bricked in now. We've got some of the textures in. I've added in some of the polished andesite in these little triangle 3-point patterns just to add these little bits of interest that catch the eye. And now we're going to go in and we're going to take some of these spruce signs and we're going to add them into the corners just to define where these edges are. Because at the moment, it kind of looks like this front wall blends into this back wall. Now that we've got those spruce signs added in there, I've also gone and added in the braces for what is going to be the underside of the roof and just put a few lines of spruce gates along like that. And now we are going to use the incredibly scientific method of deciding where to put some windows. And I think we're going to put probably a big one there, another one there, and I think it would look good to have a point of light somewhere around there as well. So when you're looking at it from these angles, you get a nice shine across the top of here and in the back there, and then some darkness coming down to another point of light with this lantern. I think that's going to work well. So what we're going to do is probably have to put some scaffolding up to these points. And this floor's a bit awkward to do that from, so we're probably going to go to about there. Oh, sending scaffolding is always so slow. Knock down to where those arrows were. Put that across. And I think we might go for some double wide. So let's take... should we go for 2x2 or should we go for 2x3? Let's go for a 2x3. And I think this one here is going to be a bit smaller. So we'll maybe just go for a little one like that. They don't have to be even. I'm not planning on doing things like that. So there we go. That is our beginnings of the lights in. And what I'm going to do as well, because they're going to be backed. Oh, I didn't want that there. Because they're going to be backed by lights and then have trapdoors placed over the front of them, I'm just going to put that block there to make that easier. We have some shroom lights, we have some magma blocks. Let's add them into these windows. And let's see what patterns we can come up with. So I think I want this big one to have some mainly darker areas, and then we'll have a lighter bit just there. And this one, I think, yeah, we'll make it a lot brighter. Just add those so they're recessed in like that. Doesn't really matter which way they're facing, but it, you know, if you get it somewhat aesthetically pleasing, that works. Okay, how is that? That's not bad. Let's add some shutters. So I'm going to put 2 of those there. This is a bigger window, so this is a bit more awkward. Let's just add them on both sides and we'll see how that looks when we get down. So now we have those 3 windows added in with the shutters down on either side of them. Just breaks up that big area there and gives it these little focal points with these brighter lights coming in like that. I don't think I'm going to bother putting a window on these sides because I think these areas are a little bit too small. So now we have to decide what we are going to do for the roof. I managed to find just shy of 3 stacks of dark prismarine slabs. This might not be enough to fill that roof, so we might have to blend some other things in. Because I'm being lazy and I don't really want to go to the prismarine farm and then to the ink farm and then to craft a load of blocks because I'm not doing things that precisely. I I never do. I just don't. So we're gonna see how far this stretches. We're gonna blend in some other blocks just to make up for where it falls short. And I think it's probably gonna come up with a pretty damn good looking roof. Anyway, just to cap this new building off. In adding this roof in, I'm just going for a really simple step design. I'm not going for anything complicated. There's no need to do anything like that. And I'm just moving between using the dark prismarine as the majority block with a few little bits of these deep slate tiles added in just to add a little bit more of interest in the roof. And once I've blocked this in roughly, we'll go back down to the bottom, we'll have a look, we'll see what it looks like. And if it doesn't work, well, we'll just rip it out and change it because we want to get it right. Doesn't have to be first time, but you know, that's how this works. We're deciding as we go. With the roof now on capping it, you can get the hint of the deep slate, of the dark prismarine down here. But ultimately, this area is designed to be viewed from down below, looking up at the build. So this kind of works. This is as much as you're going to see. So when you're further, you're going to get the appearance of the sloped roofs going up. And the last thing that we can add, just dotted around the bottom, is the collection of barrels, chests, and various other things around the bottom here, just to really tie it in. And there we go, with those final few additions of the barrels and chests down at the bottom, we have completed this little building area. Now, it is only a facade. It's not actually intended to ever have any interior. It's just supposed to give that background look, that impression that there is some life going on here. And it fills in this space really well. It continues this jagged in and out pattern that I was going for, included with these drain pipes and the addition of the barrels and things like that, just to further break up these straight lines, including in the vertical as well, as you've got these various stages where it bumps out and ducks back in and things like that. Even with the difference between the spruce signs here and the bricks making up the wall, you get that little sense of depth here and there throughout the entire build. And I think it works pretty well and it adds really nicely to it. You get the blending again from the spruce down here into the wall, going up through the lighter blocks and then capping it off with the darker blocks as well. And it also blends in to this existing building here whilst having this different texture from these red bricks here, which helps just to create this as a little focal point in this corner. So when you're running across this area, maybe across this bridge or across there, your eye is drawn in to this corner as well, as this red really just pops out.